Hey guys, I have another movie to review for you today, and I'm gonna go with a compare and contrast on this one because these are both movies that have come around this season, and as you probably know, kind of like the monster reference or the nostalgia has been really hot this last season, and mostly thanks to Halloween. So I just saw Frankenweenie, the Tim Burton remake of the classic 1984 short movie. And boy, like, you have not got to see this. Honestly, I had good intentions when I heard about the claymation remake of Frankenweenie because I really liked the short movie as a kid. It was a charming, lovely little movie about, you know, life and death with a kid and debating how people would react to the reanimation of life. Is it really a good thing or a bad thing? And I just saw it again, the short movie, you know, just after seeing this claymation remake, and I'll stop beating around the bush. I did not like the claymation remake, obviously. But you know why I didn't like it? It didn't need to be done. Like, my wife told me that Tim Burton had been planning on this remake for quite a while. Like, it's supposed to be a very important project to him. But why? You probably don't know, but, like, this remake is bad. It's boring. It's bad. It's not likable at all compared to its earlier work, and I'll tell you why. Because what was a half-hour movie before has now been stretched out to an agonizingly long hour-and-a-half film filled with browbeating morals and a lot of characters that we don't really care about, and all done in this very boring, weird atmosphere that Tim Burton has done. Because, you know, we haven't seen too many black and white movies nowadays. I actually thought that would work in its favor, but no, it doesn't. It's so bland. How could kids like this movie when you can't use your black and white right? Other than that, you know, we've gone back to his claymation deal of him trying to recapture what was the same icons used in The Nightmare Before Christmas. The weird characters, especially the main character, redesigned to look like his first short animated picture about the boy who wanted to be Vincent Price. We get it. You're Tim Burton. You like old horror movies. You like Vincent Price. You like setting things where people of the old 50s generation, they just don't understand science and kids and the weird. You've done that, Tim Burton, so many times over. What the hell were you thinking with this remake? This is pretty bad. And I only paid $5.50 to see this, but God, I wish I didn't. I wanted to walk out of this movie. It didn't need to be done. This Tim Burton remake with this animation, it's just superfluous. I can't believe I had to sit through this whole thing of this whole forcing onto your audience of how science can either be a good thing or a bad thing, and parents just don't understand, and the worst part I have to say is that in this movie, compared to the original work, no one takes responsibility for anything. You want to know what I'm talking about? So, take this for example. If you've seen Frankenweenie remake so far, you'll probably get where I'm going at. But, you know, Frankenweenie the dog is supposed to die. In the original movie, that happens 3 minutes into the movie. 3 minutes. Our conflict, or better yet, you know, our setup for the rest of the movie. But no, it takes forever in this remake. And you know why? The dad, the fucking father figure in this reanimated piece of shit, you know, he goes on to saying, like, I sure am proud of my son. But not really, because I wish he was into sports and going outdoors and stuff. So he forces his kid to play baseball, and that's how the dog dies, by still getting hit by a car. Look, the dog needed to die, yeah, but it was the father's fault this time. In the original movie, that was an accident, or at least Victor's fault. He was that little kid throwing a baseball into the street, not knowing that a car was coming by. But that's sad, it's horrible. you know, it brings out the emotion. Unlike this, all I kept thinking about in this animated piece of crap is how no one could take responsibility. The dad didn't take responsibility. Victor didn't take responsibility for bringing the dead back to life. The mayor didn't take responsibility. None of the townspeople did because we didn't give a shit about any of them. Like, just one moment they're a mob and the other moment they're just, you know, helping out. Look, a lot of the same angles, the same design, hell, it's almost exactly it's used the exact same set even, other than, you know, actually the 1984 live action movie, you know, taking place in a rural town rather than New Holland. New Holland? What the fuck is this shit? And there's just some windmill there. Let me tell you, in the old movie, it was a miniature golf course. That's what made sense. You know, referencing the old 1930-something Frankenstein film, right? Oh, but, you know, this remake, though, it couldn't stop referencing everything. It had to throw in a ton of monsters. Now you've got your Frankenweenie, your vampire cat, your wolf rat, your creatures from the black pool, the sea monkeys, really? And of course, a Japanese giant monster with a Japanese kid creating it. Why? Oh my god, why? It is so heavy with all of these references. It's this remake. Bottom line, Tim Burton is a burnout. He has really just created this non-trying piece of shit with a lot of voice actors who feel untrying at all. There's no motivation, there's no just feeling. There's nothing to like about this movie, and I don't hate it. It's not crap, it's boring, and it's not gonna get the right attention to actually be harmful. My last piece, I guess, when it comes to the Frankenweenie remake, please, just don't bother. You're wasting your time. It's boring as sin. If you want to watch a good movie, you can actually watch the original. I watched it just now, and oh my god, it's so much better. You actually feel for these characters. You know, it's live action, or it takes place, you know, in real life with real people, with Shelley Duvall, who plays it off great like she always does. You'll get to emphasize with these characters because you're looking at kids and parents, not these weird just caricatures of people. You aren't being, you know, dumbed down by this whole debate talk about science being good or bad. No, you're going along thinking with the characters like, you know, our son brought back the dead. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Like, it's not that bad because the dog is pretty much the same, but it's bringing back the dead. That's all it came down to. And then by the end, everyone pays something. You know, Victor's parents in either movie are supportive, but at least in this original 1984 movie, at least his dad had the strength to protect his son from just outing, you know, I'm sorry, I'm getting very caught up in myself, but it's a disappointment. It really is. I was looking forward to this animated movie, thinking that Tim Burton was going to get back to some basics, or get back to what he had, what made Tim Burton great, what made Tim Burton make The Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice. But no. What the hell were you thinking? That's all I have to say. This didn't need to be touched. This was a waste of my time. And you know what? Go watch Paranorman, because Paranorman does it right. Paranorman is involving. Paranorman is made for an audience for both children and adults. This Frankenweenie remake, who the hell is it made for? Not even Tim Burton fans would like this. Tim Burton fans would call this a betrayal. This would be a Last Airbender. That's how bad it is to Tim Burton fans. But Paranorman is like godsend. The animation is so much better. And that's hard saying because Tim Burton made it the fucking art form that it is. But my god, this animation sucked in the Frankenweenie remake. Okay, to sum up, Frankenweenie is a dull, black and white, patched up movie that you could probably read and, you know, understand at a first glance. It's a way too easy a movie for film students. If you want to watch a movie that really talks to you, that really connects to you, watch Paranorman and watch the original 1984 Frankenweenie movie by the same director, Tim Burton, director-creator, whatever. also created by Buena Vista or Disney Studios. This was a cash grab. This was probably about it. Tim Burton purposely did this without even trying. So, that's all I have to say about this.